We're live. Welcome to Winning Big on Game Day. This is our Super Bowl webinar and one of my favorites from the year. So many exciting results to show you today. A lot of emotion that was evoked, both positive and negative, in this year's big game advertising. So I'm excited to be with you. Let's dive right in. All right, I want to start off with some of the trends, some of the themes of Super Bowl Sunday from the lens of an advertiser. And what we saw in Super Bowl this year was an increase in the cost of a 30-second spot to 8 million a spot, and an increase in the viewership. As of this morning, the estimated 126 million viewers across channels. That exceeds last year's record turnout by about 2%. We'll see what the final numbers are as we get through the week. There were several themes that repeated themselves in this year's Super Bowl advertising. First of all, advertisers leaned into nostalgia. Brands were trying to evoke emotion and comfort by using familiar faces, Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal and Hellman's, familiar media and characters from past ads, and familiar music. Some of the soundtracks that were used and highlighted or covers in the ads included Panama, Take Me Home, Country Road, for the Rocket Mortgage ad, Born to Run, with Dove, Born to Be Wild, What a Wonderful World, all evoking nostalgia and trying to trigger consumer emotions through those sonic elements. We also saw a lot of cute characters, brands trying to engage with emotive mascots and animals. Instacart brought back a lot of our favorite characters. The Nerds ad used emotive characters, and Coors Light went in sloth mode to try to capture attention, slowing things down and trying to excite people with characters. And Angelsoft did so as well. Another theme of this year's Super Bowl was obviously AI. AI and the integration of AI into technology. A lot of us anticipated AI created ads, and while we saw the influence of AI in creation of ads, and that included, bizarre imagery trying to evoke absurd humor, to emphasis on new products and features that included AI. In these different ways, AI left a significant mark on the Super Bowl. Google came from an emotional route, tried to tell a human story. GoDaddy launched a new product and awareness around it. OpenAI talked about AI itself and the beginning of innovation, and it always starts somewhere, and Agentforce as well. So AI was a big part of this year's Super Bowl, and it came in many different forms. We also saw obviously a lot of comedy, a lot of absurd humor, but some just lighthearted and using humor as a way to try to engage and captivate the audience. You see this a lot, and it's often coupled with celebrity. Celebrities are common in the Super Bowl to capture attention and also imbue attributes and popularity onto a brand. Some hired new talent, and others brought back trusted spokespeople. Uber Eats, Michelob Ultra, Dunkin' all used celebrity, and some of the celebrities, featured their mustaches, from Andy Reid to James Harden in the Pringles commercial, and even Little Caesars went the facial hair route to evoke Homer with floating eyebrows. On the more serious side of Super Bowl, there were spots that tackled social advocacy issues, and they used the platform to speak out on these issues. NFL, for example, had a couple of powerful spots. Dove came back for a second year in a row with a very important and emotional message around confidence in girls, and the Foundation to Combat Anti-Semitism and Novartis, all standing on this platform to speak about their important issues. Another interesting tactic that advertisers used this year was dual spots, so purchasing additional airtime to replay or extend their narratives. And these were often done in direct adjacency to the primary 30 or 60-second spot. You may recall Rocket with their advertising spot using Country Road, Take Me Home as the song, and then panning into the Superdome to the the entire audience singing that same song with the Rocket brand appearing around the stadium in its iconic red and white colors. So interesting use of different tactics to reinforce the brand and the memory, get more mileage out of their $8 million spend per 30 seconds of TV advertising time. Those are really interesting trends and themes, and a lot that we see year to year. And it does beg the question about, so how, if these are the recurring themes, how do you create an effective and optimize an effective Super Bowl ad? Well, AI has something to say about it these days. And we'll kick off here. We love to watch the ads in this webinar. So we'll kick off with OpenAI. OpenAI, for me, had the most visually striking ad of the entire Super Bowl. This was the Intelligence Age by OpenAI, a 60-second spot. And we'll watch this and listen and see what we find.
We are live on the TV, Bob. That's one small step for...
Summarize this article. Help me practice asking for a
Act
raise.
as my sleep coach.
What bird is this? Actúa como mi tutor.
Turn my idea into a business plan.
What do you want to create next?
I love the message. All progress has a starting point, and we were taken through a brief history of recent technological innovation, and obviously OpenAI, with the title of this ad, "The Intelligence Age," is making the statement that we are at a new point of discovery and innovation, and the positioning is around progress. All progress has a starting point. And they finish with the line, what do you want to create today? So this is about creation. This is about the future, and it's about embracing AI as a platform for innovation and the future. The intelligence age, I love that as the thesis of our expanding human intelligence through what we create and have created with AI. If you look at this ad, we love watching these ads. Everybody wants to understand the performance of an ad. Is it a good ad? Is it a bad ad? What are the principles for creating an effective Super Bowl ad? And in the age of AI, you wonder if you could simply ask ChatGPT, how do I create an effective Super Bowl ad? Well, I think that also brings us to such an important point, because AI is only going to be able to produce output from data that it has been trained on. And what better data can there be to train than real human data? And so what we're introducing here today under the title of automated behavioral science is what we believe is the future of the most valuable training data for AI. And that is real, raw human emotion data, quantitative measures of human emotion. And if we had a database of advertising, Super Bowl advertising, that had quantified the human emotional response, the engagement with ads, as well as the emotional influence of those ads, and we could use that database to train an AI, we could then ask that AI, give me the 4 top principles for creating effective Super Bowl advertising. And we would know that those outputs wouldn't simply be based on the written word from the past. They would be based on actual human emotional reaction and performance of ads in the Super Bowl. So I'll put the automated behavioral science in context here for the audience. At Sentient, we build technology that measures attention, emotion, and the non-conscious mind. And we build that to provide access to the human emotional experience and the non-conscious drivers of those experiences. Within advertising, this takes really two key forms. One is engagement. We need to know whether our ads are engaging. Do they capture attention? Do they maintain attention through emotional engagement? And we'll use the most advanced behavioral science measurement tools to quantify the engagement of each ad. In this case, we're using sentient expression, which is an emotion AI, including a deep learning convolutional neural network model that makes inferences about the human emotional state based on the systematic movement of the 43 different muscles in our face over 30 times a second. As we understand emotional engagement, we cannot end there because emotional engagement without influence on the brand is simply free entertainment for the public. And we're not in this just to entertain the public. We need to entertain the public in a way that actually is good for our brand. So the second half of this equation of effective advertising is the influence. Everybody wants their content to be liked. And you've seen plenty of popularity contests and opinion polls as people have rolled out their results from the Super Bowl. But we're really not interested in opinions. We're really interested in how exposure to an ad influences the attitudes of the consumer toward our brand. And so when we're trying to measure the impact or influence of an ad, we want to use the best measures that capture the unspoken, to capture the true impact. And for that, we use Sentient Prime, which is an implicit association testing platform that measures the change in the non-conscious mind from before being exposed to an ad to after being exposed to an ad. Now we have that data, and that data goes back 10 years or more in terms of measuring the impact of Super Bowl advertising effectiveness. If you have historically, if you look at the performance of brands and ads in the Super Bowl, they're not always consistent. Brands will often fall down, and then the next year come back with a winning ad. And it really requires balancing engagement and influence. If you understand engagement here as your y-axis and influence as your x-axis, you want to be in the upper right-hand corner. Those are the ads that are most engaging. Your audience is glued to the screen. They can't turn their heads away. And it's also ultimately good for your brand. And so here's an example from Hellman's, as you can see. Some successes and some failures. Don't want to be down in the red. We really want to be up in the green. And last year, with Kate McKinnon and Mayo Cat, you may remember that ad. They really scored well. One of the most engaging ads in that Super Bowl. And their influence was a little bit below average. They could have done a little bit more work there. Where will the Hellman's ad show this year? We're going to show you some of those results. This one was a throwback to when Harry met Sally and emphasize one of the product benefits of eating Hellman's. Dunkin' is another great example. Sometimes Dunkin' isn't successful in their advertising. You may remember a couple of years ago, they had Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez, and they had the drive-through scene was highly engaging, especially here in New England, as everyone loves Dunkin'. But it wasn't the most influential ad. Last year, they really hit it out of the park with, I should use a football analogy instead, probably that 55-yard dime into the end zone, right? They hit it out of the park with Brady and Affleck and Matt Damon and the Dunn Kings. Highly engaging and also highly influential. Now, they brought back Affleck this year, but Brady, Damon, they weren't in the spot this year. How did that spot do? We're going to show you the results from Dunn Kings 2 this year as well. Can we balance engagement and influence? Can we optimize creative? Well, let's ask AI. If you had an AI that was trained on a database of non-conscious human data and real, raw, human emotional data from engagement in a decade of past Super Bowl ads, you might query that AI and say something like this. What are 4 best practices for developing a high-impact Super Bowl ad that excels in both engagement and influence? And if you were to ask that AI to return some results, here are some that you might see. Let's start with number 1. Here are 4 best practices. Leverage celebrity effectively. in your advertising. Celebrity endorsements are throughout Super Bowl ads very common. Some are done very well. Some are not optimized. Ideally, the celebrity endorsement is well aligned with the brand and the ad's message for the brand. A popular figure can attract attention, and it can lend credibility to the ad, even an aura of popularity. So some brands that did well in the past, Whole Logic with Mary J. Blige in 2022 scored very well with their spot. Elf last year with some celebrity appearances. And we'll tease a little bit on the Bud Light ad this year. But Bud Light included Shane Gillis, Post Malone, and Peyton Manning, everybody's favorite neighbor, bringing energy and reinforcing a lot of the Bud Light fun as that brand tried to get back on message and hit its target audience. So let's do a little bit of a deep dive now into this best practice, utilizing celebrity endorsements effectively. We'll show you some effective uses this year and some ineffective uses. And why don't we start with that teaser? Dun Kings 2, utilize celebrity endorsements effectively. This one gets an X, as you're going to see how this ad performs through emotional engagement and emotional influence for the brand. I'll first just play this ad so we can get a sense of what it is. And as we watch this, try to observe your own emotional reaction. What's capturing your attention? Are you excited? Are you bored? Do you understand it? Let's see.
Welcome to Java Jam, Battle of the Coffee Brand Bands.
This ain't the Dunkings. Where the hell are Matt and Tom?
Forget them suckers. Matt Damon and Tom Brady don't have the heart of a champion. We got a new squad, Dun Kings sequel.
Affleck and Belichick.
Dun Kings! A little more spirit on the, on the charge next time. All right. We got a fourth Dun King 2 coming. Oh, my God.
Hey, man.
Is that coffee? What are you doing in there?
I'm just trying to find the character.
We got to battle the barista buds.
I'm all in for Duncan.
You should have paid for Matt.
I told you that.
Dun Kings about to get roasted! Like a dark seasonal roast with coriander and slight balsamic drizzle.
Sounds like what's in my garbage disposal.
See you, coach. How much to wait a half hour to get my name spelled wrong on the cup?
Nobody wants a goat milk double half calf soy milk cap. You could just brew it. It's beans and water.
Oh, damn. Listen, Dunkin's for all of yous. America runs on Dunkin'.
Oh, they finished strong, but did they really need the 60? I don't know. That middle 30 seconds was pretty confusing to me. But again, who cares about my opinion, right? Let's let the science talk. Let's let the data give us insight into what was effective and what was ineffective about this spot. So in each of these analyses, we're going to show you a few different types of data. In the video, we'll show you, this is the Sentient emotional expression AI, quantifying the emotional reaction to the ads. We'll show you two lines. One, a blue line, which is the overall emotional engagement. We want more emotional engagement, and we ideally want that engagement to increase across the time course of the ad. And then we're going to show you valence, the ratio of positive versus negative emotion expressed by viewers as they watch this ad. And so watch those two pieces of information. Negative emotion isn't necessarily a bad thing. A negative emotion, when it's used to build tension or point out an issue that needs to be resolved with the brand being a hero, is a very effective use of negative emotion. However, sometimes you can evoke negative emotion unintentionally, and that can have a negative impact on your brand. So we'll show you the overall emotional engagement and valence reaction to the ad, and then we'll also show you the impact on the brand after a single viewing of this spot.
Welcome to Java Jam, Battle of the Coffee Brand Bands.
This ain't the Dunkings. Where the hell are Matt and Tom?
Forget them suckers. Matt Damon and Tom Brady don't have the heart of a champion. We got a new squad, Dun Kings sequel.
Affleck and Belichick.
Dun Kings! A little more spirit on the, on the charge next time. All right. We got a fourth Dun King 2 coming. Oh, my God.
Hey, man.
Is that coffee? What are you doing in there?
I'm just trying to find the character.
We got to battle the barista buds.
I'm all in for Duncan.
You should have paid for Matt.
I told you that.
Dunkings, about to get roasted. Like a dark seasonal roast with coriander and slight balsamic drizzle.
Sounds like what's in my garbage disposal.
See you, coach. How much to wait a half hour to get my name spelled wrong on the cup?
Nobody wants a goat milk double half calf soy milk cap. You could just brew it. It's beans and water.
Oh, damn. Listen, Dunkin's for all of yous. America runs on Dunkin'.
Oh my goodness. It's boy, there's just way too much going on. I've watched this ad probably 10, 12 times now. I'm still trying to pick up some of the references, and I'm from New England. Um, it's too much work for the audience and an awful lot of references to last year's Spot. So you got to remember that Damon and Brady were in last year's Spot, that they didn't hire him again, that they brought in Ben's brother, the Afflecks, and they brought in Belichick. It's, boy, there's a lot to figure out there. And you can see all the negative emotion. You really want that to build into a positive moment at the end. They start to climb at the end, but it's just not, it's too much for this spot to be convincing for the brand. However, this ad does do one thing that's actually quite good, and it takes clear aim at Starbucks. You saw the green coats come out to represent that brand and the fancy coffees, right? And that is the opposite of what Dunkin' wants to stand for as a brand. So you see essentially modest lift for Dunkin' in terms of implicit appeal. That's not statistically significant in terms of the lift. But look at what happens to Starbucks. Now, that is a significant decline in implicit appeal for Starbucks following exposure to this ad. So if there is one positive takeaway, they're in the 29th, 30th percentile for influence, modest lift for Dunkin', and a good competitive dig against Starbucks, but simply too much going on in that ad to captivate and keep your audience engaged. And this is Stella Artois' David and Dave, the other David. They're 60, and this one does a little bit better than Dunkin's, but it's still getting an X for effective use of celebrity. I'm going to jump right into the emotional reaction data so you can see how the US general population reacted emotionally to the Stella Artois ad moment by moment, and then we'll show you the impact.
Mom, Dad?
We have something to tell you.
You have a twin brother we never told you about.
I'm sorry.
So, what's his name?
Other David.
You called him Other David.
If there's two Davids, one has to be Other David.
Where is he?
Left him in America.
Are you...
Beckham. Dave Beckham.
No way.
Hey, what'd you say your name was?
David.
Try one of these. That is the best buffalo wing in the county.
You eat buffalo?
No, it's just chicken. It was invented in Buffalo, the city.
So it's not buffalo.
You all right, man?
Still got it?
Come on, guys. Sorry, it's a thing I do.
You drink Stella?
I have taste, David.
There's something I have to tell you.
My brother is a famous soccer player?
Yeah.
So how famous are you? Like Matt Damon famous?
Maybe Ben Affleck famous.
That's a shame.
I mean, it's kind of cute watching Ben and Damon go back and forth, you know, in their ads. But this one does a little bit better. You can see the rise, the positive emotion at the end. Look at the up and to the right trajectory of overall emotional engagement. But also notice where it started. A little bit too slow of a start. You know, if we scrub back and we look at that emotional engagement, we got Stella up front, good branding moment at the beginning. But these are Beckham's parents, apparently. And, you know, the general audience, now we're looking at really old pictures. I know you got to set up the story, but whoa, we're 22 seconds in before we see Matt, the other David. And we have a good payoff at the end. Does it do well for the brand? Actually, we get more of a lift
Dad?
We have
for Stella Artois than we did for Dunkin's in the previous ad. And we also see a slight decline for a competitive brand. So the influence or impact of the Stella ad is actually more effective than the influence of the Dunkin' ad. But again, not the most engaging ad. We could optimize those first 20 to 25 seconds to captivate this audience early on. All right, let's finish our beer section with Michelob Ultra. This one you may be familiar with. It was one of the first pre-releases of the Super Bowl, and it got a lot of buzz before the Super Bowl. Also using celebrity Willem Dafoe as one of the celebrities in this spot. And this one is called The Hustle. We'll jump right into the emotional reaction of this ad as well. So moment by moment, we're going to see the audience respond and look at the difference in emotional reaction to to Michelob Ultra's The Ultra Hustle.
We'll do 2 Michelob Ultras.
Excuse me, would you consider playing us?
For the Ultras.
Oh, we're kind of at a high level.
Fascinating.
You guys sure you want this?
Please serve. That was fun. Play for those Ultras.
They got Ultras.
Whip it real hard. Whip it real hard.
You know we're professional athletes, right?
What sport?
I smell Ultra.
Play for an Ultra?
Oh, I really like it. And they're tapping into cultural themes. They're tapping into what people are excited about right now. This is up and to the right in terms of overall emotional engagement. And as we like to say, just a positive romp. The audience is in on the joke early. You see that when they start to reveal, oh gosh, we've got Sweeney in there as a young celebrity who everybody knows, and they're getting beaten in pickleball by characters that we love, and I just love that. So the audience is in on the joke, and now we can just let this thing roll, and we get a really nice emotional reaction. Nearly all of the emotion that is expressed during this ad is positive emotion, and then they end with that great product shot at the end and toasting you. Really nice job by the Michelob Ultra brand. Get a lift in the Ultra brand implicit appeal, get a decline in Miller Lite appeal after exposure to this ad. Overall, a success for Michelob Ultra and very effective use of celebrity. Okay, so there's 3 examples, and we asked our AI, can you give us 4? So we'll take this in chapters. And the next chapter is going to be highlight product benefits clearly as a best practice for Super Bowl ads. So not all ads are trying to emphasize product benefits, but if that's the purpose of your ad, if you're launching a new product or a new feature, or there's a key point of differentiation from your product benefit, you want to be able to clearly communicate it and make sure that it lands in memory. So demonstrating how the product solves a problem or enhances the consumer life, that can lead to higher influence scores. Some good examples, Intuit TurboTax, Dancer from 2023, Snapchats last year, less social media, more Snapchat, actually showing imagery that you might see on that actual platform. So let's start with a different product category. And we're going to now look at Hims and Hers. And this is a 60-second spot by Hims and Hers called Sick of the System. And it is an ad that needs to be optimized in some ways, but it does, as you can see with that green check mark, deliver on positive influence for the brand. And let's watch this ad. And again, let's just see what you feel while you're watching and how you feel about the brand after watching it.
Obesity is America's deadliest epidemic.
This is America.
74% of us are overweight, and obesity leads to 500,000 deaths each year.
Why, you just have to stop eating, Jimmy.
This is America.
Something's broken, and it's not our bodies, it's the system. Welcome to Weight Loss in America.
Like and subscribe.
A $160 billion industry that feeds on our failure.
Yeah.
There are medications that work, but they're priced for profits, not patients.
This is America.
This system wasn't built to help us. It was built to keep us sick and stuck. But not anymore. Hims and Hers offers life-changing weight loss medications. They're affordable, doctor trusted, and formulated in the USA. You get a treatment plan designed by a doctor to fit your body, goals, and lifestyle. You deserve to feel great in your body. This is the future of healthcare. This is Hims and Hers. Join us in the fight for a healthier America.
I love watching these ads without any data first, and I just love to, and then try to introspect, old school William James psychology, try to find the inner life, the inner moment, and observe your own reactions. As I watched that, in the beginning, you probably saw it on my face, furrowed eyebrows, some surprise, a little bit of concern when those data points started to come out. And then, loving advertising. I loved some of the lines that were dropped in there as well. Is built for profits, not for patients. That's a really clever line. So it's interesting to see what you notice, but you can never end there. From a scientific perspective, we want to see the data. We don't want to just rely on our own insight. That's a good starting point. But my experience isn't the same as everybody else's experience. And so how does the general audience respond? Not their opinions. How do they actually emotionally react to an ad like this? And then what is the real influence, the true implicit impact of exposure to an ad like this? And so we'll watch the emotional reaction of this audience to the first half of this ad, and you'll see it differs from the second half.
Obesity is America's deadliest epidemic.
This is America.
74% of us are overweight, and obesity leads to 500,000 deaths each year.
Why, you just have to stop eating, Jimmy.
This is America.
Something's broken, and it's not our bodies, it's the system. Welcome to Weight Loss in America.
Like and subscribe.
A $160 billion industry that feeds on our failure.
Yeah.
There are medications that work, but they're priced for profits, not patients.
This is America.
This system wasn't built to help us. It was built to keep us sick and stuck. But not anymore. Hims and Hers offers life-changing weight loss medications. They're affordable, doctor-trusted, and formulated in the USA. You get a treatment plan designed by a doctor to fit your body, goals, and lifestyle. You deserve to feel great in your body. This is the future of healthcare. This is Hims and Hers. Join us in the fight for a healthier America.
Very interesting. You sort of see two lines there. If we scrub back to the beginning, there's too much going on here, right? And we're staying in moderate engagement. You see how that engagement line is up, down, up, down, up, down? That's an audience that doesn't know what to attend to. But you do see, if you're optimizing this ad, the emotional moments that are actually triggering, the creative moments that are actually triggering an emotional response. Right here, as we come in, is not our fault, right? The message is
obesity is America's deadliest epidemic.
This is America.
74% of us are overweight, and obesity leads to 500,000 deaths each year.
Why, you just have to stop eating, Jimmy.
This is America.
Something's broken, and it's not our bodies, it's the system.
That's a key line. I'm trying to say it's not your fault, it's somebody else's. It's the system, right? The system is sick. And that evokes negative emotion, right? But it increases emotional engagement for the second half of this ad. That setup, that negative emotion, allows the brand to come back in at the end. And this is effective use of product benefits. Look at the messaging here. The system is sick and stuck. Now we go right into the app on the phone.
Not anymore. Hims and Hers offers life-changing weight loss medications. They're affordable, doctor trusted, and formulated in the USA.
Oh, and American made.
You get a treatment plan designed by a doctor.
All emotional reactions to those product benefits, and is it delivering for the brand? Bring in the happy people at the end, show that it actually works for those people, and you see an influence score.
Obesity is America's deadliest
more
epidemic.
influential than 73% of all ads of similar length in the US. Look at that lift of implicit appeal for Hims and Hers from pre-exposure to post-exposure, 101 to a 106.8. And you see Noom over slight lift for the category, but Noom trailing Hims and Hers as a brand at baseline. So the ad is doing something to lift category, but it's doing more work for the target brand. That's an effective use of product benefits within a Super Bowl advertisement. Could give you another one. This is Instacart. We're here. Now, this is a very different approach to demonstrating product benefits, and they actually lean into a couple of best practices. They're using cute characters here, but they're also tapping into some nostalgia, as you're going to see, to evoke emotion. But ultimately, the message is the product benefit, in this case, the service benefit of Instacart. And I'll jump right into the emotional reaction on this one. So this is Instacart's We're Here. I will mention in the Super Bowl, this ad was adjacent to the Mountain Dew ad. And so it came right after the Mountain Dew ad, if you remember that one, with the seal as a seal. But why that was so interesting to me was they opened the scene with puppy, monkey, baby. Here we go. And a reference to previous Super Bowl ad. Here we go.
Release the hounds.
Puppy monkey baby.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on a porch.
Groceries are here.
Thanks, babe. You get the milk?
Ah, that's fun. We see overall, look at engagement start to rise and gets into a strong area early, and then does a fairly good job of staying at the in the mid to upper end of that range of scale. Some beloved characters, but the product benefits are delivered right there at the end. All of these, your favorite, iconic brand characters delivered to your door, your favorite brands delivered to your door. And what do we have? We have a happy family, and then we have a cow on a motorcycle. So that's a fun Super Bowl ad. Really great, effective use of the soundtrack there too. No words necessary in the middle of that. We got enough with the visuals, and then we have the sound kicking in that keeps the audience engaged throughout the spot and ultimately delivers a lift for the Instacart brand. And it does it at the expense of DoorDash, which is what you want. You want that lift for you, as well as being able to diminish the effect for your competitors. Sure, lifting the category, rises all boats. The rising tide rises all boats. But if you can do it alone for yourself, you've got a more effective advertisement for your brand. All right. I'll give you another example. Those were a couple of effective uses of product benefits in an ad, a Super Bowl ad. Here's one that doesn't quite meet the mark. Now, this is Squarespace. And as you're going to see, this is a very emotionally engaging ad. You'll see why as we jump into the emotional reaction. This ad is going to startle and use some surprise as a way to captivate the audience and engage.
Come here to me and get your Squarespace. 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 Oh, Squarespace. Oh, websites. Oh, sure it is.
How about that? For the American U.S. general population audience, we're not getting an impact for the brand. It is highly emotionally engaging with laptops flying through windows, startles you. And that's an effective tactic that is often used in Super Bowl advertising. You can see we have negative emotion at the beginning, and then we have positive emotion towards the end as the viewers start to get in on the joke. But where do they really get in on the joke? It's in the pub. And we say, okay, Daly's Bar. Now I get it. And then we're just going to do a little bit more of that, and then it'll tail off at the end. But is this effective use of a product benefit? The implicit appeal of the brand actually declines. In fact, they just hurt the whole category. That's a message about websites, right? That seems so old school at this point. Websites? Is that a thing? Website makes it real. Squarespace, nothing in there about the product benefit itself. Just an engaging ad to try to gain awareness, put the brand in memory, but it's not putting the brand in memory in a positive way because we see a decline in implicit emotional appeal for the brand following exposure. This is what we would call free entertainment for the public. Upper left-hand corner, highly engaging, not influential. If we could optimize that ad, we might show a little bit more of how Squarespace product is differentiated in the category. All right, number 3, our AI says leverage humor and surprise. We just saw some startle effects on the last slides. Historically, humor and surprise is all over the Super Bowl. Bud Light Seltzer, last year's lemons from 2021, Tide hoodie in 2021 was really funny ads historically. One that really stood out as funny and use of humor this year, leveraging humor and surprise as well as nostalgia to evoke emotion, was Hellman's when Sally met Hellman's 30-second spot.
I can't.
This one evokes emotion in the audience, and it actually delivers a message by using humor not just to entertain, but to actually drive home a product, a brand and product message. You'll see as we get into this that this is all about it being a real one. Here we go.
I can't believe they let us back in this place.
Oh, no good?
No.
Oh. There we go.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, boy.
So good. Oh, it is so.
This one's real.
Oh.
Add that as a sandwich. I'll have what she's having.
Classic line, still works today, right? Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan sitting back at that table, delivering that same iconic scene with great nostalgia there. And look at the second half of this ad. We set it up. What is this? We're coming in with the product right now, right in the middle. She doesn't like the sandwich at the beginning, right? But then she takes the, first of all, brand right in the middle of the screen, that central tendency bias, behavioral science principle being used. Hellman's real, and it's real, right? And that actually is the message. And then Billy Crystal actually delivers a line, oh, this is a real one. And then we finish with this very emotional ending, and oh, let's make it current, bring in Sweeney again. I'll have what she's having, and that's the Hellman's. Great ad. It is highly.
I can't believe they let us back in this place.
Over-indexing for Hellman's, lifting an already beloved brand from a 107.5 to a 110.9. Doesn't do much for Kraft. It does actually also lift perceptions of exciting for the Hellman's brand, which is really critical for a brand, a historic brand that needs to stay relevant to today's audience. All right, now let's do one that uses leverage and humor, leverages humor and surprise, but perhaps not in the most effective way for the brand. This is Reese's Don't Eat Lava. Tell me not to eat something, and I love Reese's, my favorite candy, by the way. So here is Reese's Don't Eat Lava.
Ever since Reese's came out with their new chocolate lava big cup with a delicious layer of chocolate lava, people visiting the lava flows have been pretty confused.
That stuff looks delicious. I want to eat lava.
It looks so good.
Just a little taste.
Don't eat lava, eat chocolate lava.
Get in my mouth, lava.
Don't eat lava, eat ooey gooey chocolate lava.
It's lava time, baby!
Don't eat lava. Eat new Reese's chocolate lava big cups.
Oh my goodness, the grandmother scene. This is the most popular, right? Look at that. Everybody's laughing here. Nearly 100% of all the emotional expressions are positive emotional expressions towards the end of this ad. But again, this is upper left-hand corner, highly engaging, not highly influential for the Reese's brand.
Ever since Reese's came out with their new chocolate lava.
Again, a beloved brand, 108.7 drops to a 105 after a single exposure to this ad. And there's several reasons for that. You've got humor. You've kept the audience engaged with the humor and leveraging surprise. But, you know, my blood sugar spikes just watching this ad. And I said, Reese's peanut butter cups are my favorite candy. And throughout the entire ad, you're telling me not to eat lava. So don't eat it, don't eat it, don't eat it. and then we're having it spill all over the place. For the US general population, entertaining, but not influential. Actually puts a decline in the whole category. One thing that helps reinforce that point is this point on disgusting. Now, Reese's actually isn't disgusting overall, right? People love the taste of Reese's, but we actually see a significant increase in disgusting associations with the brand after a single exposure to this ad. So if you want more evidence that this might not be the best creative approach for your brand on the big stage, automated behavioral science can give you that insight before you get deep into production. All right, one more. This is Pringles, the call of the mustaches. You may have heard there's a chip war happening right now, and this was Pringles' entry into that fight. I find it actually quite amusing, this ad. Let's jump right into the emotional reaction. As we do this, you're going to see some iconic mustaches come flying off of faces and fly through the air. Does that make you want to eat chips?
We're out of Pringles.
Just blow in the can. Do it.
I'd like to thank our fans.
I'm just gonna go to the store.
I think you got mine.
I like it.
I mean, I love the creative try. I mean, they're using a distinctive asset of Pringles, right? The mustache on the can is a distinctive visual asset for the Pringles brand, and they're doing it in a very humorous way. But again, this isn't about my creative opinion. This is about the reaction of the target audience, and the U.S. population had a
We're out of Pringles.
Just blow in the can.
and we see a decline in implicit appeal for Pringles. And it doesn't significantly affect Lay's, but it doesn't do much for the category overall. Interestingly, we see that it does not make the brand more boring. It's less boring afterwards, but not in an appealing way. You got to look at those two things in combination. So that's one entry into the chip war. The second entry we'll emphasize is Lay's. And for Lay's, we're going to go into the fourth best practice as identified by an AI acting on an emotional database. Create emotional connections. Ads that evoke strong emotions, whether they're heartwarming or dramatic, they tend to resonate well in Super Bowl. Every Super Bowl, we have 1, 2, 3 spots that stand out that really tugged at the heartstrings. And emotional engagement can lead into a positive shift for brands on game day. Huggies, We Got You Baby in 2021. Volkswagen's An American Love Story from 2024. Both good examples of historic ads that tugged on the heartstrings. We'll show you Dove this year, a big game film 2025. But before we get there, let's lean into this chip war and let's see who won on game day. Was it Lay's? Was it Pringles? Lay's Little Farmer, 60-second spot. As we watch this ad, what emotions do you feel?
If I was a flower grown wild and free, I'd want you to be my sweet honeybee. And if I was a tree grown tall and green, all I'd want you to shade me, be my leaves. If you were a river in the mountains tall, the rumble of the water would be. If you were the winter, I'd know I'd be the snow, just as long as you were with me when the cold winds blow. I'd be a nod. If you were a seed, well, I'd be a pod. If you were a floor, I'd want to be a rug. And if you were a kiss, I know I'd be a hug.
You know, when I first watched that ad, it's a really warm, heartwarming ad, really warm, friendly ad. When I first watched that ad on game day, the brand at the end was a little jarring for me. I think because I was so tied into the characters and we weren't set up at the beginning to think Lay's. It came in on the truck at the end, and then obviously the brand badge on the end card. So that was a little jarring for me from a branding perspective, but again, it's not my opinion that matters. It's really the emotional engagement and emotional influence of the ad on the target audience. One of the things that makes this ad so engaging is that soundtrack. I don't know how many people in the audience today are my age, but that soundtrack, that's the song we played for our babies in my house, and is instantly recognizable for those who had that emotional experience with their children. And the scenes of the daughter planting the potato and taking care of it with the passion that she has really tug, at my heart anyway. Was it true for the rest of the population?
If I was a flower growing wild and free, all I wanted you to be my sweet honeybee. And if I was a tree growing tall and green, all I wanted you to shade me, be my leaves. If you were a river in the mountains tall, the rumble of the water would be loud. If you were the winter, I know I'd be the snow, just as long as you were with me when the cold winds blow. I'd be a nod. If you were a sea, well, I'd be a pod. If you were a floor, I'd want to be a rug. And if you were a kiss, I know I'd be a hug.
Get chills again. If you were a kiss, I know I'd be a hug. Ooh. So for the right audience, that one's really emotional, tugging on the heartstrings. But notice what it actually does for the brand, and it gives an implicit lift to the Lay's brand, from 107, already a loved brand, to a 109.4 after single exposure to that ad, and it does it at the expense of Pringles. Really effective advertising. If this is round one of the chip wars, round one goes to Lay's potato chips. One last note on this chip war. The other thing that Lay's does very effectively there, they have the product consumption at the end, and the joyful look from the father on the porch with the daughter smiling as if he's eating the chip the potato that she took care of all year long. Lifts and flavorful, lifts and brand appeal, emotionally engaging. All right, last one. We'll end with Dove, creating an emotional connection. Dove came into Super Bowl last year with a similar message about confidence in girls. And the ad that they had last year had great promise. We thought that the cut down was not optimized because of the change in the emotional reaction in the audience moment by moment. In this spot, these legs, a Dove big game film, 30 seconds, we see the effective use of an emotional connection. Thank you, Dove, for the message. The emotional reaction to this spot is very strong. And this spot by Dove does a more effective job of emotionally engaging that audience and delivering the message than their spot last year. Let's watch the U.S. general population's reaction to this message. At age 3, these legs are unstoppable. Yes, let's change the way we talk to our girls. Lift in positive brand appeal for the Dove brand, and the emotional engagement score very high at 83. Here's the one that really stands out to me. Implicit associations of the brand for me, the connection to the sense of self among the US general population. This ad lands that message. At age 3, these legs are unstoppable. Born to Run, Bruce Springsteen in the background. Great ad. All right. We'll pause here. There's so many more great ads for Super Bowl. Can't cover them all in just an hour-long webinar. But don't worry, we've got more for you. I'm going to tease you on the Bud Light ad, Big Men on the Cul-de-Sac, 60-second spot. You may remember this spot. But rather than cover it today, I want to invite you to our webinar tomorrow that we're co-presenting with Bera Brand Management. Now, imagine a scenario where you had this automated behavioral science-based testing that could tell you moment by moment the emotional moments of your ad that are changing the attitudes in the minds of your target audience. What if you were able to couple that technology with your brand health management, measurement and management system? If you knew the key drivers of your brand and you were tracking them in your brand health platform, if you could pull those same attributes that drive familiarity, meaning, regard, and uniqueness of your brand, if you could pull those into your automated behavioral science testing and tell which moments of your creative were actually making an impact on the attributes that mean the most to your brand, wouldn't you do it? You might. So I'd like to invite Craig onto the screen to join us. Craig, Chief Customer Officer at Bera. Hi, Craig. It's good to see you. And we're going to be together tomorrow. You want to talk a little bit about what we're doing with Bera AI and how we're incorporating automated behavioral science into Bera's platform.
Absolutely. And we're looking forward to it. We'll be going through 4 ads tomorrow using the Innovator platform, which is what Aaron was just referring to, where we're able to take drivers of your brand equity, the actual things that make a difference that the brand needs to lean into, use Aaron's technology from Sentient to test how and why and when those attributes are being affected by the creative, and then make that a closed loop system back to how you measure and manage your brand equity over time. Very excited.
I'm excited too. I love these. It's going to be a great session. We'll do Bud Light tomorrow. If you look at that QR code or tap that bit.ly link, you can sign up for our webinar. And we'll see you for some more exciting results tomorrow at our co-webinar with Bera Brand Management. All right. Do we have any time for questions? Looks like we've got time for one question. Let's see. Love those questions. I wish I could do all of them. First one, can you describe how you test the implicit attitude changes, what respondents see, experience, and how the data is calculated? It's a true implicit research technology, uses a patented approach and avoidance swipe velocity measurement on mobile phones and measures the speed of response on laptops and desktops on your keyboard. We measure it before exposure to an ad, emotional appeal, implicit approach and avoidance emotion, as well as key brand attribute associations. And then we measure it after exposure to the ad. Now, these aren't conscious measures. These are true non-conscious measures. So even those things that people are not eager to admit, this is able to reveal those, and it shows you the true impact of an ad. Second one, how do you ensure the data integrity, accuracy when utilizing your tech? This may be my favorite question of the year. In the age of AI, in the age of bots taking surveys, you must have automated behavioral science technology. This technology is a bot killer. It has to be a real human, and the technology is designed in a way so that bots actually can't manipulate the system to get through the tech. That means all of your data is real, raw human emotion data, and we believe that data is the foundational training data for the future of AI because it's real human data. Let's continue to innovate. Thank you for showing up today and joining us for this webinar. We'll see you tomorrow.